Eagles. Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a nightcap edition of Birds 365, our final show of the week here to kick off or close out week number 2 of Eagles training camp, day number 7 for them on the practice field today. We are here live for the next 2 hours here on Birds 365, a little evening edition, a little tech issues to start the night. I don't know what's up with the tech at night. I mean, it's just John, evidently our internet providers like us in the morning. How you doing, John? We're having a little issues, but I think you're there right now.
Yeah. The Algonquin roundtable in the chat is upset because my Wi-Fi is shitting on me. But blame it on Xfinity. Don't blame it on me.
Yeah, Xfinity's up and down, but we will prevail. We will work through it. John, day number 7 today. How was it out there, man? Hot one. It was cool where I am, but yesterday it was cool where I was, and you're like, it was still real hot. How was it out there today?
Oh, it was beautiful today. You could do that every day at training camp. That's perfect. The Eagles even went longer than they expected to go because it was so nice. 65 degrees maybe when they started. Yeah, it was like 30 degrees better than it was Thursday. So. Plus the humidity at one point it was like 107 the real feel on Thursday, and today was just beautiful. Box that up for the rest of training camp.
Yeah, good stuff. Hopefully it stays like that all training camp. I don't know if it is. Plenty of things happening in the sports world today. All right, we will cover them all with you guys, including a big trade request in the NFC East. We'll talk a little bit about that, but we will also get to what the Birds did on the field today for practice, day number 7. The defense has really been having a lot of good days, but Johnny Mack in his recap quote wrote about Saquon Barkley stealing the show a little bit. Johnny Mack, your first couple impressions. What did you see out there for the Birds practice today, brother?
Best practice Saquon Barkley has ever had.
Wow.
Ever had. The rest of the NFL should be frightened if this guy's going to show up because he had 2,504 yards last year rushing, and he didn't look anywhere near as good in camp as he did today last year. It was unbelievable. It's one of the best practices I've seen. It's his best practice since he got here. He was doing everything. He was even being a difference maker in the passing game. He's running it all over. Obviously, you're not getting tackled, but it is what it is. But really impressive performance from Saquon. So that leads it off, and everything else is sort of white noise after that. But if he plays like that, people are in trouble. I'll say that.
Yeah, what constitutes a practice like that from a running back, Johnny Mack? Like what was it? Was it the cuts? Was it the speed? Was it the elusiveness? Was it?
It was on a different level. I don't know if it was the cool. He was feeling good because it was cool. He was chirping at people. He and Reed Blankenship were having a back and forth because he was killing the defense. And then he started getting on Jalen Carter. Then he started getting on Trot. He was feeling himself today. It's like watching a great scorer, NBA scorer, score 70. That's how I would describe it.
Wow, that's pretty good there. Good stuff from Saquon Barkley. You don't hear that a lot, John. He's not the greatest practice player in the world. I think it's just because, it's tough to showcase that talent on a practice field. But he evidently had a great practice today. That's pretty good.
I wonder why it's showcasing it, but that's another conversation. Like, I'd have him in the bubble at this stage, but that's me. He's been doing a lot at practice, which is, I'm not sure I agree with.
We'll have to talk a little bit more about that. We're waiting on the connection, John. Still a little spotty, but we'll make it through it.
It's going to shit. I told you it's going to shit. It says it's shit on my end. It's going to be shit. It's going to be shit.
Wait, I want to explain to the viewers something. So just the way that Johnny Mac is with the Eagles is exactly how he is when we're trying to fix his Wi-Fi. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'll give it a second. It might catch. It might come back. And John's like, no, it's shit. It's not happening. I'm telling you right now, it's shit. I'm like, oh.
It's not happening. I got one bar. I can see it. It says I'm at optimal speed from Xfinity. Those morons. By the way, I'm going to rip them. And I'm plugged in. I got an extender, even if I'm not plugged in. One of those things that's supposed to supercharge your internet. And it's all shit.
Got to hit the internet with
One
a
bar. It's like I'm on a Walt Whitman with my cell phone.
cell phone might work better, dude, at this freaking point to get it.
The cell phone would work perfectly. I may have to jump on that.
And we might have to do it until that internet kicks up a little bit. Do you want to try that? I mean, I'd like to get a full practice recap, at least 20 minutes, you know what I mean, with good internet.
Well, you tell me. I mean, you're coming across perfect to me. Everything's coming in to me perfectly. It ain't going out. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, your download speed is good. Your upload speed is no good. John, jump on the phone for a little bit, and I would leave the computer open though, and see if it can kind of reset itself. If you want to jump on the phone, I'll get you up by phone. We'll talk a little bit for 25 minutes there, and see if it can set. And then hour number 2, we'll get into Micah Parsons a little bit. Hopefully, the internet will be better by then.
All right. All right. I'll be back.
Sorry, John. There's John. He'll join us by phone. I don't know what's going on, man. Here, listen. Here's one thing I know. He's trying. All right. He's freaking trying. I don't know what the heck is going on with the damn internet. The internet gods want Birds 365 in the morning. All right. Andrew, he did do a hard reset right before. So I don't know. I don't know what he can do, man. I don't know. Sometimes the internet is just a damn fool. All right. Izzy B, that's what I do. That's what I was doing in my damn air conditioner in my window today. Yeah, I got the new filter. I did everything I needed to do to get the damn air filter working. It wasn't working. I walked over and said, boom, there you go. It's back to working. It'll probably be done in a little bit, but it's working right now. Oh, I'm a little hot. It's maybe not working as good as I thought it was going to be working, but good to see everybody in here. I appreciate all the great people of JAKIB Nation being in here tonight. We'll get J-Mac by phone. All right, we'll get J-Mac by phone for a little bit and see if I can get the practice update, because I do want it to come across clear so that I can post it up as well for all the people who are not watching on the live show tonight. But it is great to see everybody. How about Saquon? A great practice today. We'll get into the defense as well with John, talking about them and kind of what he saw today at practice. Another good week though. The Birds are off tomorrow, and then Thursday of next week they have their first preseason game. So that's next Thursday versus Cincinnati Bengals. And we will see how that goes. But Saquon, a big one. All right. John called it the Saquon Barkley show, excuse me, on his article. So he dominated on the ground today. That's always good. John, I got to ask him about what he thought about Saquon getting all those touches. You could hear him kind of say he didn't really know why that happened. On the injury front today, a couple new names got added to the list. Ben Van Sumeren did not practice. Mac McWilliams did not practice today. Zach Bond, Devontae Smith, Nolan Smith, Terrace Marshall, and E.J. Jenkins were also sidelined. And then Jahad Campbell, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and Makuba were limited today. So it is good to see Makuba getting back out on the field. Makuba was in shells today, and he only did individual drills after missing 2 practices. So that's at least a step in the right direction. I've been saying I need Makuba back by the time that preseason game comes. If he's not out there for the preseason game, I think he's going to have a hard time playing in the first week of the season this year. So we will keep an eye on that, but I think it is a positive sign that Andrew Makuba was at the very least in shells today doing individual drills. So we'll cover that with John once he joins us by phone. Maybe he's having phone issues too. I don't have him in here. All right. Xfinity is shared connection. More people at home are using it. Upload is normally fraction of download on cable system. I don't know, man. John's got the upgraded Wi-Fi. I remember when I did it with him, but it is Xfinity. Does Xfinity not offer anything that's not shared? I think I got Xfinity. I don't know what I have. I'm pretty sure I got Xfinity. Yeah, I got Xfinity. I got the whole thing. I got the Orbeez. I got all that stuff. So we'll see. But that's a good sign on Andrew McCouba. Let's get to J-Mac. I got him right now by phone. All right, we'll talk to Johnny Mac a little by phone tonight. J-Mac, I got you with me by phone more clear than I had you by computer.
Yeah, well, I hope so, but
You do, yeah.
I did find out there is an outage, so it isn't just me. There's some kind of outage around my area, but yeah, not acceptable. But
no, no, not acceptable at all. We got a show to do. Come on, Xfinity. Don't you know that Birds 365 exists? J-Mac, let's get into the practice, man. I want to get into it with you because you were a little bit muffled, so we didn't hear much of what you said, but we'll start off with the Saquon Barkley day, Johnny Mac. You don't hear that often from a running back dominating practice today. What'd you see from Saquon out on the field that made it so impressive? You called it maybe his best practice you've ever seen or his best practice of all time.
Yeah, well, I didn't see him in New York, obviously, but it's certainly his best practice ever here. I would say by a wide margin, to the point where, I think other teams should be fearful if that guy shows up on a consistent basis. I mean, he had 2,504 yards last year. He never looked like this in practice. So, yeah, very positive sign. Just moving. We talked a lot about that 482 touches last year. In theory, you think maybe the legs wouldn't be where they were last year. The history of running backs who touch it that much is not great. He looked like he had more juice than he ever has today. So, I mean, that to me is a very positive sign. But my concern is, why are they using him so much in practice? That is strange to me.
Yeah, that was where I was going next. Why are they doing it, John? I mean, does it matter? Is it? Do you look at it as real wear and tear on Saquon? Maybe he had a slow summer, John, and they're trying to get him what are the couple different angles that could be the reason for that type of use in practice?
Well, he definitely had a slow summer. He admitted that. He was, he took the advice from a lot of people to just take some time, and so he didn't typically have the same summer he usually does. So maybe that is it. Maybe that's a good point. And he needs to ramp up a little bit more than where he is typically. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, but you can see the terror. I mean, Will Shipley had a great day today. He had his best practice today. But you can see the difference when Will is in the game and AJ Dillon is in the game. It's just there's not that same just electric movement. The running game slows down, and that's the strength. The Eagles did sort of a scrimmage-like type thing. They played the practice like a game. They would kick it off and then go right into the drives. So they were trying to set it up that way in practice today, and you can see the difference. And when they're in the red zone, the strength of this team is obviously the running game, and it goes kaput when he's not in the game. So even in that environment where they're not tackling to the ground, but they have full pads on, and they thudding, so to speak, and it just completely changes when he's not in the game.
Good stuff that he had a great practice. So good to hear that Saquon looking really good out there right now. Johnny Mac, John, let's get into some of the other takeaways in practice today. Let's start with the injury front, John, and just talk to me about Andrew McCouba. He was back out there a little bit today, and a couple other names added to the list. What's the injury update from camp today?
Getting a little bit, AJ left today. At some point, they took him out of team drills. Not sure if that was injury related or just maintenance related. Nothing obvious from an injury standpoint, but it is getting a little bit more concerning. Some good news: Elijah Cooks was back. He got hurt, so he was able to get right back into practice Thursday to Friday. Ben Van Sumeren, a little bit concerned. I thought it was a knee when he got hurt, but it was just an ankle. He didn't practice. Mac McWilliams showed up with a quad. He didn't practice, and he's been having a good camp. So that's a little bit of a step back from that standpoint. And then the rest of the guys, and Landon Dickerson showed up. He practiced, but he was limited um, with a rib injury. So some of the wear and tear of just daily or semi-daily practices are starting to pile up a little bit. And obviously the same guys who've been out, stayed out, Zach Bond, most notably, Nolan Smith, Devontae Smith. So quite a few guys didn't practice today.
Yeah, good stuff that Makuba's back out there, John. I think a lot of, or at least limited. I know limited just did some individual drills today, but I think a lot of people ready, watching that now. A couple other names added. We will keep our eye on that, John, with the injuries. Mac McWilliams, unfortunate there. Hopefully he can get back out quick because, I think these young guys, John, there's a premium on these guys, man. Vic wants them in practice. I know we joke sometimes about practice and how much you can really take from it, but one thing I'm pretty sure of is that Vic wants the young guys practicing, and a couple of them are missing some time here early in camp.
Yeah, he definitely does, and preseason games is going to be big as well for those guys. And bad time to go down if you're Mac McWilliams with a quad, soft tissue injury. So that's a little bit of a concern. And then you look at some of the guys who are on the back end of the roster, like E.J. Jenkins hurting his hamstring. I mean, that's almost devastating. You already saw it with Danny Gray, and he got waived because he couldn't practice. So for those guys, it's even worse. But for guys like Drew, who's wants to fight for that starting job, he's going to get way behind unless he gets back into team drills pretty quickly.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll keep an eye on that, Johnny Mac. John, how about on the football field today, outside of Saquon? What'd you see? Who stood out today in today's practice?
Well, he was by far the best. I mean, then you start looking at the best catch of the day was from Taylor Morin. It was thrown over the wrong shoulder. Was able to adjust mid route and go over to the opposite shoulder and haul it in like it was Willie Mays in center field. So great catch from him. There's a lot of movement. I shouldn't say a lot of movement, but certain guys. Lewis Seen's a guy everybody's interested in because they know him, and he was once a first round pick, even though he kind of flamed out. He got a lot of second team reps today, which is the first time that's happened. The middle sized Ogbo, big Ogbo, continues to get some second team reps. So there's some movement and some guys getting a little bit of opportunity. Obviously, Jahad Campbell continues to get first team reps with no Zach Bond. And Small Munden factors in as well because Jahad is still on a rep count, so he can't take every single first team rep. But it was interesting. The one play Barkley didn't make today was the real wheel route that would have been a 30-yard touchdown, but Small Munden was in coverage and he had a nice pass breakup. Whereas Will Shipley got Jahad Campbell in a wheel route, and that went for a touchdown. So and it was interesting because it was opposite sides of the field. So the Eagles were really trying to work on that. And, Small made a good play, and Jahad got beat pretty badly. So that's in coverage. I'm not trying to, say it's not the end of the world, but it is an indication that maybe Jahad needs some work in the coverage aspect.
Yep, maybe we'll see. We'll keep following that along. John, what are you seeing from the cornerbacks again out there? Keely Ringo started opposite Quinyon Mitchell. A lot of eyes, John, on Keely Ringo. I tell you what, that's I sit in front of John. Well, you're at NovaCare. I'm sitting here grinding on the channel all day long, covering things, doing different shows, different clips. The most popular comment I'm getting right now across the channel wide is certainly about Keely Ringo. So people want to know about him. How did he do today?
Well, as you mentioned, he started left corner. Quinyon started right corner. So there's two things. One, it's pretty clear they're preparing to travel Quinyon Mitchell this year because they're giving all four outside guys, Adoree Jackson as well and Eli Ricks, they're giving him reps on both sides now, and that really picked up over the last week. And you can see when AJ is out there, often they let Quinion. That's how Quinion goes from right to left. He's generally following AJ. So that part of it's been interesting. And then Keely, he did some good things. That's pretty much been Keely Ringo in this camp. The one play he got a defensive pass interference on Jahan Dotson on a deep ball. And he just, again, he was there and he didn't get his head up. And you could see Christian Parker coaching him up after the play. And it's a little bit disappointing to be in year 3. You got to know, you got to get your head around,
Yeah.
And if you do, they'll let that almost incidental contact go. But if you don't, they're going to throw the flag every time. So that's the kind of little savvy things that somebody like Slay understands, somebody like Adoree Jackson understands, and it just doesn't seem like that is part of Ringo's game yet, and it's got to be. If he wants to start, he's going to have to start picking that kind of stuff up.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, John, how he's doing with that. For those who do care about the first snap, I like that you kept a record of it, John, as much as it might not matter. Jackson had the early lead. Ringo has closed the gap a little bit. It's 4-3 through 7 practices. Adoree's been out there with the first teams before Ringo. So we'll keep our eye on that. John, the one thing you wrote, too, that I want to continue to talk about is all 4 of their top 4 outs, all 4 of the top 4, of the outside cornerbacks are all getting reps on both sides, which really shows you and kind of plays into what Vic talked about of he wants those guys to be versatile so they can move Quinion Mitchell around. Talk about what you're seeing from those corners kind of rotating and moving around the field.
Yeah, well, that's the thing nobody thinks about when you talk about traveling corners. That means if you travel somebody else has got to play out of position as well. So you got to get those guys comfortable as well, and that's clearly what they're trying to do. So generally, Quinion's following AJ, and then other guys have to move, and you'll see it in the same drive. And that's what happened today. Quinion started on the right side because AJ was over there, and then 2 plays later he's back on the left side. So they're trying to work on that to the point where they can get. It's not so much Quinion because they have confidence in him. It's the other guys,
Yeah,
which
it's
Vic
everybody
talks
else.
about
Exactly.
a lot. So he's trying to get them comfortable with the idea of moving around.
Yeah, good stuff, John. You talked about the defensive pass interference that he got down the field, and just being in year 3. How do you view that? Like, is that something you think he can develop? Because I agree with you. Year 3, you want to kind of have those things, but it is kind of, I don't want to call it the icing on the cake, but it's kind of becoming a polished corner, versus getting the basics down. He's staying with people. He's right there, but he's not closing out the routes the right way. How do you view that? Is that something you either have or you don't? You think he can develop that skill set? Like, how does that make you feel? Just that's the part of the game that he's struggling at right now.
Yeah, no, I think it's completely a technique thing. So obviously you can get better at it. I mean, he hasn't played a lot, so that's just part of it. And the more you play, the better you're going to feel, the savvier you're going to be. You're going to get used to it. You're going to learn from your mistakes if you're a good player, at least. So a lot of it is just experience. So you don't put just a blanket. This guy's got 2 years of experience, and this guy's got 2 years of experience, but he's been a starter. It's not the same. It's I mean, Quinion Mitchell's been here for 1 year. He's got more experience than Keely Ringo playing outside corner.
Yeah, he was also more polished though before the experience.
Well, yeah, but he was. But the point is that just because you're here for 2 years doesn't mean you have experience. And in the case of Keely, he's if you want to talk about special teams, he's already a great gunner. He's got a lot of experience at it. Doesn't have a lot of experience playing outside corner against some of the best receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll continue to follow along with that. John, talking about the linebackers, you mentioned Jahad Campbell a little bit, but still no Bond. Nakobe Dean obviously still rehabbing. We'll keep an eye on him. I did see another video of him kind of running out there, but Trotter again back out there, Jahad Campbell back out there, and even Smile Munden making some plays. He rotated in with the ones. What are you seeing from those linebackers, man? 3 of them on the field, John. Your top 2 are not out there, and it still feels like they look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's positives. I don't know if I'd want to ride it right now. I mean, you certainly want Saquon back, and he will be. He's fine. They're just being extra cautious.
I'm not saying they're so good you don't want Bond back, Johnny. Man.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think it'd be. I will say, Trotter's got a whole like Reed Blankenship thing going on, and by that I mean, a couple years ago when Reed just showed up and we're all talking about who's going to play safety, and nobody was talking about Reed Blankenship, and he took the first rep and never left the field. I get a little bit of that from Trot. He's been just solid and consistent every single practice.
What do you see with Trot? What is it that's making him look so good out there? Is it the instinct? Does he look like he's, I don't want to say more athletic, but is he more acclimated to the NFL game speed? What have you seen from him? Because it's all good on the Trotter front.
Yeah, long before Vic got here, but it's only been validated by Vic. I'm a big instincts guy when it comes to linebackers, especially.
Absolutely, yep.
Because if you run a 4-4, and I lived through it with Jack Del Rio way back, if you run a 4-4 and you take one false step at linebacker, you might as well be running, a 5-0. You're out of the play. So this idea of this super athlete just being a good linebacker, and that's Devin White, man. I mean, he's the best athlete on the field playing linebacker for many years, but he just didn't have the instincts to play the position at a high, consistent level. Whereas, Trot's a very instinctive player. And I bring up Jack for that reason, because Jack was one of the best zone coverage linebackers I've ever seen. And he does not run well. But he understood where he was supposed to be, the angles, cutting off things from the quarterback's perspective, and turned into a Pro Bowl player. I'm not saying Trot's going to do that, but you see him even in coverage. He's always in the right spot. And if you're in the right spot, Big Fangio is going to love you.
Big stuff, great stuff from Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Playing good right now, early in camp, John. And then Munden making plays. You mentioned it a little bit. I just wanted to kind of double back in case those who missed it. But Munden makes a big play on Barkley down the sideline, and then conversely, Jahad Campbell got beat down the sideline. So what did you see from those two guys? I think it is pretty good, though, to hear that Smile Munden is now out there making plays. He was a 5th rounder as well, right, John?
Yeah.
5th rounders.
But the Smile is very athletic. Some issues with obviously playing time at Georgia, which is always a concern. Some injury issues. Very long, very athletic. That's the strength of his game. So, he's the kind of linebacker that can run down the field with people a little bit better than most. But we'll see about the other stuff. Obviously, he made a great play today in coverage that would have been a touchdown if he didn't make it. And Jahad got caught. He took a false step, and boom, there Will Shipley's gone, and easy throw, touchdown for Jalen Hurts. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. One false step, and you're out of the play, especially on a wheel route when the defensive backfield isn't really paying attention. That's your job, and that's why so many teams try to run wheel routes, because they know they're getting very athletic players, generally running backs, matched up on linebackers, which is always a mismatch. But, from the standpoint of offensively, not a lot of running backs catch the ball that well or cleanly. But they're always open on those routes, you'll notice. And that's kind of what happened today with Will, and Will's a pretty good receiver. So he's well above average as a receiver. So when Jod had that false step, yeah, it was just it was over. And maybe that's something the Eagles can find with Will Shipley as the backup to get that wheel route more part of the offense.
Yeah, good stuff there. We'll see how that goes. John, moving back to the safety spot right now. Again, Cooper DeJean playing safety in the base package, and Sidney Brown next to Blankenship in the nickel package. Obviously, still no Andrew Makuba back there in terms of playing full reps. He was out there in a shell today playing only individual drills. John, what'd you see from those safeties out there? And you think are you honing more and more in on Cooper, or is it kind of just what they're doing right now in base?
No, I think that's pretty clear. I mean, we're now at 7 practices. I mean, I think that's the plan, that he's going to be, the plan was always that he was going to expand to be a 3-down player. And how do you keep him on the field? In the spring, they tried him at corner. And now they're playing him at safety. And Vic always said, he's got confidence in him to do either. And it's more about the other guys. So again, that's been a big theme with Vic Fangio. The other guys, he trusts certain guys, specifically, Quinyon Mitchell when they're traveling. He trusts him. It's the other guys. Can he do it? Cooper DeJean playing outside corner or safety or nickel. He trusts them. It's the other guys. Who are the best other guys?
Can the other guys do it? Are you gaining any? Is Vic gaining any confidence in the other guys?
To be determined. But yeah, I think he's gaining a little bit of confidence from about Sidney Brown. Probably less with Kaylee, and he seemed to like the early returns of Mac McWilliams in the slot, but now he's hurt. That's going to set him back, and we'll see how long. Quads are not injuries where you're going to show up Sunday. They're not practicing tomorrow, but it's not like it's going to heal itself in 24 hours, unless it's just a bruise or something. But if it's an actual quad strain, that's not something that's going to handle itself, and that's going to take some time. So, but he trusts Zach Bond. He trusts Cooper. He trusts Quinyon. It's the other guys.
Yep, good stuff there. John, continuing to roll along now. Talked about the whole secondary and the linebackers. Let's move up to the front. You mentioned they started in a 50 front, Johnny Mac. You got you had Jalix on the starting left to right. Jalix, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Ojomo, and then Azeez Ojulari. So he's getting those reps with Nolan Smith out. Anybody making splashes? Anybody showing you some things in that edge rusher room, John? That's been your biggest concern on the team this year.
There was O'Shawn Mathis had a nice play.
There you go. Little O'Shawn Mathis here.
Second, third. Moro Ojomo's been the guy on the defensive front, but you're talking about the edge specifically. No, on the edge. I mean, Ogbo's already taken second team reps. They moved Hunt over from the right side to the left side because obviously they weren't that impressed with Josh Uche. Azeez Ojulari is not, defending well against Jordan Mailata, which is not a surprise, but
tough to blame him for that.
It is what it is. Ogbo's getting second team reps already. Now part of that is Nolan Smith is out, of course. But yeah, it's been something where, and Vic said it earlier this week, it's, not real. I mean, he said he's confident in Nolan and he's confident in JAKIB, and everybody else is to be determined. And I think that's still where he is. And I'm not even that far. He's probably a little bit farther than me.
We'll see what ends up happening with those guys. Johnny Mac, does Ojulari look a little better? Does that look like an improvement from what Uche was? I mean, Uche, I feel like I could have predicted. The guy's been he's a pass rushing guy. He's not a versatile defensive end. At least I don't think he was that. Ojulari a little bit better at that. How does Ojulari look out there?
I'll tell you what, now you bring that up. Jalen Hunt had a great rep as a flat defender, not today, but Thursday, which is, something that Vic will like. Some of the other guys, most of the other guys, when they're dropping into coverage, look like Josh Sweat, fish out of water. But, that's a curveball. I always try to explain. It's not. You're not actually asking pass rushers to cover, receivers and tight ends, whatever. You're just trying to fool the quarterback with somebody's rushing the passer that you weren't expecting, and somebody you were expecting drops off, and sometimes you can get the quarterback throwing right into it. Because they don't recognize it. Now, the problem is Vic has had players who can do that and make plays, and I don't know if he has that player yet, but if that player is going to be here, it's going to be probably JAKIB, because JAKIB looks comfortable doing it at least.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with that, Johnny Mac. John, Jalen Carter returned today, correct? How did he look out there? I know he was. You mentioned he was obviously in that 50 front. How did Jalen Carter look? His first kind of full practice.
No, he was a full go.
Was he full?
Not full. He's still limited. He's still on a rep count, but he's he was in team drills before. This is not his first day.
Okay, so he was Wednesday too. My bad.
He hasn't looked great, to be honest, and probably just ramping up. I wouldn't be too concerned about it, but I will say, Tyler Steen looks better against Jalen Carter than he does Moro Ojomo. So explain that one. He can't block Moro, and he was doing fine against Jalen, but I think most of it is he's just got to get his legs under him, and he'll take off. I'm not concerned about Jalen Carter, but he hasn't been great early getting back after missing a host of practices.
John, I think Moro Ojomo, man, is coming. I think Moro Ojomo is set to have a big year, John. We had a little disagreement about it, Jomo. I think he is coming this year, J-Mac.
Well, one-on-ones I was going to bring up. Landon got a hold of him, and that was it. That was it.
What does Vic say about one-on-ones, John?
Oh, they don't matter, but people love it. Well, the first one, because those two did back-to-back reps. So Moro beat Landon on the first one. Nice swim move. And then I think he pissed Landon off, and he did the old snatch and grab, and he just dumped him on the ground.
Hey, listen, I can live with 50%, John, versus Landon Dickerson and one-on-ones for Moro.
But I bring it up not because guys win and lose. I always tell you, I mean, Jordan's the perfect example. He used to get beat like a drum in one-on-ones, and now he's turned into the player he was. So Vic's right, but I bring it up because he's small, and Landon's a monster, and if those monsters, and there's not a lot of Landon Dickersons, but there's a lot of good offensive linemen. And that's the concern. And Vic has expressed that numerous times if people listen to him. He's undersized. He's undersized for that position. And when somebody like Landon Dickerson can get his hands on him, it turns pretty quickly.
Yep, we'll see. We'll continue to follow along that. John, speaking of the offensive line, let's go right there. What's new in the right guard battle, or should I say your right guard battle or lack thereof. It doesn't really exist. But how's Tyler Steen look? You just mentioned he kind of shut down Jalen Carter. Is he maybe
Well,
starting
I'd
to
say
think
shut down, but he does better against Jalen Carter, which is bizarre. But so hey, sometimes styles make fights. Sometimes you just have problems with a specific player. But yeah, I mean, he struggled against Morrow for pretty much the entirety of camp, we're now at 7 practices. But as far as competition, we're now at 7 practices. No one other than Tyler Steen has gotten a first team rep at right guard. He has taken every single rep. So there is no competition. It's just at this stage.
Well, what is the reason for that? Do they really? I mean, like, has Tyler Steen? Like, it's one thing, okay, for Tyler Steen to win, but shouldn't you have earned a starting position before you get every single first team rep?
Well, again, and I've compared it to Isaac Seumalo. When Isaac first took over, he was, the Eagles were very high on him, and they thought it was his time. And he took over, and he wasn't great, and they benched him. I could see that happening. I think that's what's going on. They think he's a good player. They think this is his time, and he'll start week 1 and week 2, maybe week 3, week 4. And if he starts to play poorly over that first month, then you might see Matt Pryor in week 5.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if it's a psych thing, John. Like Stoutland, knows the player obviously better than any of us do. I wonder if it's like give him a sense of confidence. You know what I mean? With a player like that, maybe who struggled and really has never been a full-time starter like he's being asked to do this year. Maybe there's a little bit to, giving him a kick in the butt in terms of the psych part of it. And hey, this is my job, play like it now. Am I off base with that? Probably.
No, I mean, with Stout, it's just if he believes in you, he's going to give you a chance, and he's going to give him a chance, and that's why.
Yeah, last time there was a battle though at left tackle, John. I mean, we were giving Dillard fucking 50% of the snaps in camp.
Well, yeah, but that I often point out, for people and Stout deserves all the credit in the world, but I always go back to Jordan Mailata's first start, and Stoutland happened to talk to us that week, and we asked him the question, do you think he's ready? And he said, I have no idea.
Yeah, right. Until you see him in a game, I guess even the best doesn't know, John.
Well, and Vic said the same thing about Zach Bond. He said, hey, I thought he had the instincts, and I thought he could make a good off-ball linebacker. But I didn't know. I didn't know he's going to be an all-pro. Vic admitted that. So I think, there's a lot of hindsight, but those guys are very honest. Part of it's gut. And by the way, yeah, it didn't work out with Isaac right away, but it worked out with Isaac. Isaac turned into a very, very, very good player. And Stout ended up being right. But to your point, Andre Dillard was supposed to be the good player, and Jordan Mailata wasn't. So there's a little bit of a different landscape there. Andre Dillard was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
The Eagles, part of the problem with Andre Dillard is the Eagles didn't do a lot of homework on him, and they were shocked he was there, and they took him. Well, the reason they didn't do homework, a lot of people had him as a top 10 pick, and he started to fall on draft night. So, now it's easy to say, oh, he didn't work out, but he was the one with the awesome talent, the awesome athleticism. And obviously, when you take somebody that high, you want to give them an opportunity. And that's where the Eagles were.
John, how about the rest of the O-line, man? Dickerson and Juergens both limited, which means what? Who's stepping up? Who looks good? Who doesn't look so good? How are they shaking and baking? Because they got a lot of offensive linemen, man. I'm wondering how many they keep. I think they kept 10 last year. I think they're keeping 11 this year, maybe.
Well, I'll tell you who had a bad day was Trevor Keegan.
Oh,
To the
man.
point I mean, he just lost his confidence. He could not snap the ball today. You know, he's not
Has he
a
ever been a
center.
center?
No. And for whatever reason, and it's interesting because Howie in the offseason when he drafted Drew Kendall, he went off on this tangent about how it's a trait that people take for granted. Like, I'll move a guard to center, whatever, but they can't snap the football. Not a lot of people can snap the football naturally. And this has been going on for the Eagles for years. By the way, Brett Todd clapped back against BLG because he wasn't playing center today. But he's had so many bad snaps over the years, and he's not a natural center.
What do you mean
A
you
lot
clap back at BLG?
Well, because BLG had tweeted Brett Toth had another bad snap. Well, the reason BLG did that is because he's had so many damn bad snaps over the years but it was not Brett, it was Trevor Keegan.
Oh.
So, Brett clapped back and said, I was playing left guard all day today. And he was.
Wait, where did he do that? Did he do that in person or he did that?
No, he did it on X.
Oh, okay.
I just saw it before I came on the show. I said, poor BLG. But so, sometimes players get mad, obviously. I've been there. Yeah, there's players who wanted to punch me in the face, so I've been there. But, it wasn't Brett today. It was Trevor. And, boy, he really struggled to the point it was like a reliever. They had to take him out and put Kendall in. And I'm saying to myself, I don't know why the Eagles do this. When Marcus Mariota was here, I always joke he was playing shortstop before he was playing quarterback. He had so many you're ruining these second and third team reps when you don't have a center who can snap the football. And the irony is the Eagles have a center who can snap the football now, Drew Kendall. I'm not talking about the starters.
I assume he's playing first team then, right?
Well, no, Cam Cam played most of the first team reps, but he does come out and this was the first time. This was the first day that Drew got some first team reps. That was going to Brett Toth. But because Dickerson was banged up, he was spending his time at left guard today.
Okay. So real quick though, it looks like Toth and Kendall are 100% certified locks for this team in terms of offensive line, keeping guys after the top 5 starters.
Kendall's a lock. I don't know if Brett is.
But they had nobody else to play guard for Dickerson outside of Brett.
No, they do. Keegan could have played. Kenyon Green could have played. When Kenyon's been hurt, things aren't going well. They got other guys. Don't get me wrong. Stoutland loves Brett. He's kept him around for a long time.
You're not going to go 100% locked though.
I'm not going 100%. Especially if somebody. Remember, they're gonna want to keep these young guys. Like Miles Hinton isn't ready. I guarantee you, 100% he's gonna be here. Cameron Williams, not so much.
Yeah,
but he's not ready to play. But they just think he has such a high upside. They're not going to risk losing him. So it's not as clear cut. I think most people fall in the trap of you got to keep your 53 best players, and we've talked about it a lot. That's not how building a roster works. You're keeping young guys with upside. You're keeping guys who do specialized roles. There's a lot that goes into it. So, Brett will probably be here in some form, but no way am I going 100% lock.
Okay, so who is going then? Who's the second team, John, right now for the offensive line? It's Kendall, it's Matt Pryor, I would assume. Darian Kennard. Who am I missing?
What, for the roster, or who's playing on the second team?
Playing on the second team, right? I'm just trying to get a gauge on which guys they would keep and which guys are closer to the bubble. I mean, I do think you're going to keep at least 10.
Well, Kendall Lamb's going to be the left tackle.
Swing tackle, he's going to replace technically like Fred Johnson. Is that what you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
they might do it because what they've been doing with Pryor and Darian Kennard is pretty interesting. They started with Pryor at right guard and Kennard at right tackle. Now they flip flop. They play each day. They play some right tackle, some right guard. So sometimes it'll be Pryor at right tackle, Kennard at right guard. Sometimes it'll be Kennard at right tackle, Pryor at right guard.
And both of them seem to be solid at both of them?
Yeah. Well, Pryor is. Pryor's going to be on the team because he could play 4 positions.
Yeah, so worst case scenario, if Steen didn't work out, you still got Pryor as the guy who would take over, you think, for him, or could it be Kendall?
For Tyler? No.
Yeah, if Steen got hurt or something.
That would be Pryor.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be Matt Pryor. Kendall's going to be the backup center. Lamb's going to be a backup tackle because the only concern with him is he still have it, because he was thinking about retiring. Yeah, he's played a long time, and he's still got it. So he's going to be here. Stout seems to like Kennard. He's not really proven, so those other guys are proven. Hinton's going to be here, as I mentioned. Kendall's going to be here. So
is that the other guy who's making up the second team, Hinton?
He gets some second team reps, but typically the second team would be from left to right: Kendall Lamb, Brett Toth, Drew Kendall, and then Matt Pryor, Darian Kennard, or vice versa. And Kenyon Green's gotten some left guard reps as well with the second team, but that because of the injuries, that's been a little bit up, and Brett plays, he was playing center for Cam, so he was out, but now as you see them moving with Landon Dickerson today, he got the first reps, and they might pull the plug on Keegan playing center, and he might go back to left guard. So there's still a lot of stuff when it comes to the backup players to sort out. But
was Keegan getting any reps at guard when he was playing with the second team, like before today?
Yeah, he's gotten second team reps.
Okay, so they're doing a lot of rotation. It's still too early to tell which guy they're going to cut.
Yeah. And they're going to cut players they don't want to cut because they have a lot of offensive linemen.
I think that guy we got from Houston is going to be going, Kenyon Green. I don't see it for him. Haven't heard his name much.
Well, so far, but still a long way to go. It's August 1st, man.
Yep, it's true, man. Feels like we came a long way for it to only be August 1st, but here we are, 7 days deep into practice, to a second week down. The Eagles, by the way, for an update for everybody, the Eagles are off tomorrow. So fully off, not a walkthrough. They're fully off tomorrow. Players day off, and then they're back on the field Sunday, and then that first preseason game is next Thursday versus the Bengals. So we'll be covering that. John, just a couple other practice notes, then we'll get our first time out. I'm going to rattle through some of yours, and you tell me which are the most important to talk about. A.J. Brown and Quinyon Mitchell yapping again at each other a little bit. Mitchell, but making some more plays. He had a chance for an interception. Ajomo continues his strong summer, a strip sack of Hurts, and an impressive rep in one-on-ones to beat Dickerson. You already talked about that one a little bit. Ojulari getting the best of Jordan Mailata. I didn't hear you say that. You might have said it earlier. And then Eagles went with the three. Went live with the threes late on the practice, with the highlight being undersized by running back Shaderick Powell plowing into the end zone. Lewis Seen, significant second team reps. And then former Eagle wide receiver Torrey Smith was at practice today hosting a SiriusXM radio show host. So pretty good stuff. And one news here, Ty Robinson, a couple batted balls today, who has a knack for it. So I like to hear that. Finally, something good on the Ty Robinson front. I just rattled off a bunch, John, but what stood out the most of those guys, and what are worth elaborating on from your perspective?
Well, with Ty, yeah, we saw he does. He was very good at that in college as well. Those bat downs at the line of scrimmage. So he does have a knack for it. So that's positive. We talked, about some of the negative things. I mentioned, Jomo's had a strong summer, to say the least, and he had you don't see too many strip sacks of quarterbacks in practice because you're not supposed to touch them. But he managed to get in there and hit the ball right on the button, and came out. So yeah, he's having a really impressive summer, to say the least. Yeah, the rep with Ojulari, he got the best. He dipped his shoulder. It was pretty nice, and he showed some bend. Because he's a small guy. And then what I didn't put in, I don't know if I put in the rematch was not nearly as effective for him. That's one of those things. Same thing with Landon. I mentioned it with Morrow. Morrow got Landon, and then Landon said, all right. And then Landon same thing happened with Ojulari and Mailata. And then, the second one, Jordan said, all right, enough of that, and settled down. So that's why they said, yeah, I don't put much stock in the one-on-ones, but they are fun to watch.
Yeah, I believe that. All right, good stuff, Johnny Mac. I don't know if you want to try your computer again or if you're just good on the phone. One thing we got to talk about in hour number 2, Micah Parsons talk. Holy moly. Some more chaos in Dallas, as they love in August and July and August, as they always do. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get back. Appreciate everybody being here. Let's read 3 super chats, John, before we get to our break. D. Hughes checks in. What's up, D. Hughes? $5. Thank you, brother. J. Mac, were you covering the Vikings when Corey Stringer passed? I just saw a post on IG talking about it. I would have been about 3 years old. I never heard about it before.
Yeah, I was on the field. Tell it all the time. Yeah, it was my worst day covering the NFL. Yeah, it was horrible. People don't believe me. When everything in football changed after Corey passed away, because back then, I tell the story and people think it's like that old, the old guy telling stories about going uphill both ways to school. They didn't let us bring water onto the practice squad, reporters onto the practice field. That's how strange it was, and it was considered almost a weakness. To show weakness by wanting water and this stuff. You read stories about Bear Bryant way back in the day and what people put themselves through, and now it seems so stupid. You did not hydrate people, but that's the way it was.
I don't even get it. Something like, I get wanting to practice 3 times a day, not having water, but what the fuck? Why would you not want water? These are peak performing athletes.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. But it was considered a sign of weakness, and guys wanted to, and football has always been, and it still is, but really back then, a tough man's game, and people wanted to prove, how tough they were. And part of the reason why and I know Mike Tice still feels bad about it is, you'd give shit to people, and he's trying to prove how tough he is, and wouldn't hydrate himself, and all of a sudden the worst thing possible happens. And yeah, it was a terrible day for the league, obviously for Corey and his family, but yeah, I was on the field that day and it was brutal.
Was there kind of a sense of you knew what was happening once he went down, or was it just like
no, he went down. They took him to it was a medical trailer at the time, and we didn't know when we left. We didn't know it was that serious, but we saw the ambulance and we said, "Oh, what's going on here?" And It's just, internal temperature got up to 107 or 108, whatever, and that was it. And yeah, it was ugly.
Yeah, that's ugly, man. Awful. D. Hughes, thanks for the super chat, brother. Let's keep rolling here. JD3 checks in. Too much collusion against the mean green machine, Tyler Steen. He's going against all-pro Ajomo every day, not Mozzie Smith. Cut him some slack, Z. Holy shit.
All-pro Ajomo. I don't know. I know it's partial trolling, but sometimes I don't know. Do people believe themselves? I don't know. Sometimes I know pump.
You know who said that, John? That's our legendary Harrison Bryant truther, JD3.
Yeah, JD's spot on. Harrison Bryant.
Remember, he changed the profile picture to Moro Ajomo. So
I'll tell you what, Harrison Bryant is doing a nice fake out job if he's an all-pro player. I'll say that. But in Moro's case, Moro is a good player. He's not going to be an all-pro, but he's a good player.
Good stuff there. Appreciate JD3. Balenci Bry checks in. What's up, brother? Appreciate it, man. $5. Great question here. He says, J-Mac, how fun and entertaining is it to watch that battle between AJ and Q? I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, it is fun because those guys like competing against each other, and they're both high-level players. I remember, when Bradbury first got here, before, people, turned on him, when he was a second-team All-Pro, it was similar. Him and AJ would go out at practice every day. It was really fun to watch when he was playing at a high level. Now you're getting it with Q, and, he's much younger, and it's more likely to hold up, to say the least. But yeah, it's fun, and it's because I put that in my notes today too. It's back-to-back plays, and AJ got him on a slant route, but you could tell AJ was a little bit annoyed because he kind of flicked the football and giving him a little bit, and typical AJ Brown play. And then the very next play, Quinion was really close in coverage, and AJ still should have caught it, but he dropped it, which is rare. But you can see the coverage was so tight, and he was bothering him. So you see that back and forth, and there's not too often that you see cornerbacks traveling in practice, but that's what Quinion's doing. He's traveling to shadow AJ. And, Vic's trying to get those other guys used to it, to going to the other side. So it's pretty fun matchup to watch.
No doubt, man. Two great players. Great question there. Appreciate it. Leon Banks checks in. What's up, Leon? He says, J-Mac, don't forget to use sunscreen on your head at practice. Also, are you worried about Cam's back injury? I am just a little. You're a goat, J-Mac.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, I never hit the practice field without a hat, so that's number one. But with with Cam, no, not worried. Just he had back surgery. He's out there stretching every day before. He looks completely fine. He takes first team reps, the majority of the first team reps in every practice. They just have a number, and when he hits that number, they go in a different direction. So, but he's fine. And the Eagles didn't sign him to a $68 million extension because they're worried about anything. So, their medical people have assured them that he's going to be fine. Not to say he can't get hurt again, but they're not worried about the back injury.
Good stuff there. Leon, appreciate the super chat. Appreciate everybody for all the super chats today. Great opening hour here. We're going to talk about Micah Parsons, the NFC East, and all sorts of different things next in hour number 2. Hit that like button, everybody. We'll be right back in 3 minutes on Birds 365.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the viewfinders, the thrill seekers, and the night owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Thrill Seekers and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome back in, everybody, to a Football Friday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, Johnny Mack, John McMullen, rolling along here as we wrap up week number 2 of the Eagles. They were on the practice field today for practice number 7, and they will be off tomorrow. And then first preseason game is next week for this football team. We got Johnny Mack by phone tonight. A little bit of internet issues. J Mac, how you doing, brother? We are back, and we're going to talk a little Micah Parsons here in hour number 2.
Yeah, I tried to get back on, still 1 bar, so I got back on the phone. But,
yeah, I did see the Xfinity thing that shows an outage where you are.
Yeah. Hopefully at some point they figure it out, but we'll make do as best we can. And I apologize for the issues, but yeah, I mean, nobody makes the Eagles look better than the Cowboys as far as the organizations are run. And boy, they just keep doing the same damn thing. Hey, Jerry Jones is a Hall of Fame businessman, and Don Van Natta tweeted it out, and I just emphasized it, and he said it better than anybody could when he said, and we've talked about it on the show, Jerry Jones doesn't mind paying a few million in a mega contract if he and the Cowboys can generate $100+ million worth of free publicity by dominating the NFL conversation in July and August. This is Jerry's preseason soap opera playbook, rinse, repeat. He does it every year. Every year.
This wasn't all Jerry. Well, I guess it was Jerry induced, but Micah didn't have to come out today and say what he said. I thought Micah made a good point, obviously, and I know it doesn't matter. It's Jerry. He's going to do whatever the hell he wants. But, Micah's got to protect his brand and who he is as a player. So I thought the statement made sense, and it just shows you, John, how they really don't give a shit, man. They do not care when it comes to putting a winning team on the football field. I don't think, John, they're even trying to be good. It doesn't feel like they're even trying. Like, I don't think Jerry gives a shit about what goes on the football field.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Yeah. So he's a great businessman, Hall of Fame businessman, but he's not a Hall of Fame football man. And for people that care about winning, and that's the fans, because they don't care about the business, he cares about the brand. He cares about what he has built the Cowboys in. And he doesn't care about Lombardi trophies anymore.
No.
It's hard to argue otherwise. Other than, from his perspective, he pays them in the end. And he doesn't mind paying them extra. But what that leaves out is the fact that you pissed off the player. Like his mentality is, I'm going to pay him, so just go along with it, wink, wink. But now, some people don't like it, and that's what happened with Micah today. And he doesn't like it, and now you pissed off your best player. It's just a bad way of doing business.
How do you think it ends? You think Micah stays? You think he goes? You think a trade is granted? What do you think? How do you think that ends? Probably the same
He's
way.
not getting traded because they're going to pay him top of the level money, and they're going to make him the highest paid edge rusher of all time. And from Jerry's standpoint, he's kept his team relevant throughout the dead months, and they're still the Cowboys, and everybody's constantly talking about them. And they'll work it out, and they'll play for the Cowboys, but it's not how you build a winning team. And, this is where the Eagles can spike the football because, they do things the right way. So look at this division. You got Terry McLaurin requesting a trade in Washington. You got Micah Parsons requesting a trade with Dallas. And the Eagles are just drama-free for the most part. Does it matter as much as on the field? No, you need talented players, but it matters. The culture part of it matters, and they have a good culture, and Dallas has a shitty culture.
Entertain me, John. What would it take to get Micah?
But first of all, this is one I wish to God would happen. I wish that whatever your God is, I wish that whatever deity would happen simply to watch Eagles fans line up and admit finally how good Micah Parsons is. So I would love to see it.
I don't think he fits Vic, though, John. I really don't.
Oh, he fits Vic to a T.
What?
To a freaking T.
Does he set the edge? Can he stop the run? I don't know if he does those things that great. I'm not saying he's not a great football
player. He's an
player.
all-ball linebacker. He's a flex defender. He fits Vic Fangio to a freaking T. Vic would lose his mind if he got.
So go fucking get him, John. Give me a first and Nolan Smith if he fits him to a T. Are you kidding me?
By the way, I would give a first and Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt for Micah Parsons. It's for, as bad as the Cowboys are, I can't believe they would ever trade him in division. And first of all, they're gonna work it out.
Yeah,
number one, but they're not gonna trade him in the division. But boy, I wish it would happen just to see all these morons who said he can't play, he can't do this, he can't do that. And then they'd fall in love with him the minute they saw him play, the minute they actually sat down to watch him play. There aren't too many people. Like I said, Nick Sirianni has said this numerous times off the record. And the only reason I can say it on the record is because he finally said it on the record. The Eagles had the best offensive line in football. and he acknowledges they can't block him. And he said, if you can't block somebody, read them. And that's what you do. And you try to take advantage of it and sort of, go underneath and do different things. But he acknowledges they can't block him because nobody can block him. It's not just the Eagles.
All right, so John, Howie admitted to something I don't know if it was last year or a year and a half ago. He was on the podcast with, I believe it was Jason Kelsey. I do my homework on everybody. I never want to know what somebody's value is on the open market. Even if I'm not even thinking about it, I'm getting the information I need. That's part of my job, is paraphrasing. That's kind of what Howie said. So he's making the calls to figure out what people would even think about offering. Not to say they're going to trade him. I don't think they're going to trade him either. But, their phone's going to ring. What do you think it would be from the Eagles to try and get Micah Parsons?
Why do we have to do this? I mean, it's not possible. It's not plausible. It's not plausible. You start with it's not as much as you think because you have to pay him $40 million. So that'll knock it down to maybe one first-round pick, maybe a player, maybe a Jalen Hunt, and then go pay him $40 million a year. But the Cowboys, if it got to the point where they were going to trade him, and it won't get to that point, they're not going to trade him in the division. Steven will put his foot down, Steven Jones. Jerry might do it because Jerry's, Lord knows what's going on with Jerry. But, Don also tweeted out the same thing. And I remember this because I was at that draft. It was still at Radio City. Everybody thought the Cowboys were going to take Johnny Manziel because Jerry wanted him so bad. And he didn't want him because he thought he was going to be a good quarterback. And he told Don specifically that drafting Johnny Manziel would have guaranteed the Cowboys relevance for a decade. That's the way he thinks. It's got nothing to do about football, which is bizarre to me because the Cowboys are the brand is to the point where they don't need that bullshit. They're the Yankees, they're the Lakers, they're Manchester United or whatever. If you're a soccer, they're that, and he still acts like they're trying to capture what they already have. It's bizarre, but it's good for the Eagles.
It's great for the Eagles. There's no doubt about it. It's funny to see it unfold. We will see how they respond. I don't know if this is true, but somebody said this afternoon, John, that Jerry's response was, I got more shit about the CD Lamb contract.
I don't know if that's another thing. Jerry's great to cover. I mean, because he talks all the time. He talks and
doesn't give a shit.
And he just says stupid.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's they don't have a chance to win. So Eagles fans should be happy with that part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll tell you though. I mean, you talk about adding that player to this team on what is the weakest position on paper. I mean, from a football perspective, it is a perfect fit. Perfect.
If you were the GM, would you be pulling the trigger? Would you be doing this? Because look, I know we say that they're never going to trade him, but everybody's got a price, John. And if you wow Jerry enough, I wouldn't be surprised if he did it. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. What would you do it if you were the GM? And what would you give?
Well, I'd give away, the concerns about Nolan Smith or Jalen Hunt are laughable. But again, you got to pay him $40 million.
You're going to pay Nolan. What are you going to pay Nolan in a couple of years? 25,
Well, how he said it with Myles Garrett, same thing. We're not in a position to do that at the current time.
Myles Garrett was 30. Micah Parsons is 26.
Yeah, he's probably a better fit too, believe it or not, because of the way Vic plays. Because he can play all ball, he can drop, he can. Yeah, it'd be a perfect fit from a Vic standpoint. But yeah,
I know you don't want to answer it because you'll tell these Eagles fans you're going to give away all their favorite players to get Micah Parsons. You don't really give a shit. Is that true or false?
But do I give a shit if they?
No, I'm saying you didn't answer what you would give them, and I'm like, you're not going to say it because you know you're going to piss everybody off.
Oh no! I think it's
players.
ludicrous. I think it's ludicrous. Yeah, those people would exist. Like you can't trade Nolan Smith. Yeah, you can. You can't trade Jelly. Yeah, you can. Are you fucking kidding me?
Am I crazy to I'd rather trade Nolan than Jalix?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Okay.
But it's I trade Nolan in a second for Micah Parsons. In a split second. By the way, Micah wants to play here too.
I know. That's what I mean. I don't know. How far-fetched is this thing? Is it as far-fetched as you're making it sound?
Yeah, it's far-fetched because, again, as much as, just like Steven talked Jerry out of taking Johnny Manziel, that's why I brought up Johnny Manziel. I forgot to finish my point. Stephen Jones, he was taking Johnny Manziel. Stephen Jones had to literally stop him from taking him. And they ended up getting Zach Martin, who's going to go to the Hall of Fame. So, Stephen would not allow him to trade him in the division, period. End of sentence. So I don't think they're trading him at all. But if it gets to the point where Mike is so upset and he's just not going to do it, they're not trading him to the Philadelphia Eagles. There's no.
John, what way to get good publicity off trading Micah Parsons and trade him to the Philadelphia Eagles? Are you kidding me, John? He'll be getting publicity when the Eagles are playing in the playoffs about trading him to Philly. If he truly only cares about the media currency and the media value, Jerry wouldn't rule it out, John.
Well, I'm not saying Jerry's like Joe Biden with the pen, but Stephen will stop him. He already did. He's done it in the past. He's done it in the past numerous times.
We've had Stephen on the show in the afternoon. I'm gonna have to reach back out to him, try and get him on.
Yeah, he's done it. Ask him about Johnny Manziel. Tell Sills to ask him about Johnny Manziel. I don't. Yeah, he'll probably tell the story. Yeah, I mean. No, there's enough sane people in that organization that would stop him from trading him in the division.
Good stuff there. We got a couple super chats on this, John. Kyle Kokorski says, I'd rather trade for secondary help than trade for Diddy Parsons.
And again, if they were able to pull off the miracle, mark that name down because he would be losing his mind. All of you would. I can't force you to be honest with yourself.
I would be honest. I'm fucking ready to make the trade, John. Are you kidding me? Give me that player, John. I don't give a shit. I'm with you. Are you kidding me? I'll make that trade.
What's not to like about the player?
I don't know. People say it doesn't show up in the playoff. I don't know. People come up with stuff.
Here we go. It doesn't show up in the playoffs. The 4-time All-Pro doesn't show up in the playoffs. But Josh Sweat showed up in the playoffs. And you don't care about Josh Sweat because he left. Yeah.
Valenci says, you're making me very interested in Micah, J-Mac.
He's a great player. I mean, he's a great player. I wish you could hear Nick Sirianni talk about him. It's great. When they asked Vic, Brookie asked Vic about, the comp, Vic laughed. He laughed.
He did.
He said, come on.
That shows you how much Vic thinks of him.
He said, come on. No, I'm saying it. Yes, it shows you how much Vic thinks of him.
Yeah.
it was a ridiculous comparison and unfair for Jalix, to be honest. But yeah, I wish people understood, but they, he's a Cowboy, so they don't like him. But the minute he got here,
I don't know. Go ahead.
The minute he got here, the minute they saw him play on a consistent basis, they haven't had a rusher like that in forever. Hassan Reddick had a great year. He does that every year. Yeah.
I don't know why I have a feeling, John, that Howie is interested. He's working phones.
Oh, God. First of all, everybody loves the player. Everybody.
That's what I mean.
You're misconstruing. Of course they like the player. Why wouldn't they like the player?
Yeah, but Howie can shake and bake and make some moves. If he really wanted him, it's not impossible.
Why would the Dallas Cowboys trade their best player?
Because it's Jerry Jones. Why does Jerry do it? Why would Jerry do anything that he does?
Yeah. Like I said, this is one I wish would happen. One, I'd like to see him play every week because he's that type of player. That's like, it's like.
Yeah, it'd be fun to cover.
And B, I want to see all the people that said he's shit turn into the biggest Micah Parsons fans in the history of the world. Getting the jerseys. They'll be out there asking Zander for free jerseys.
Oh, John, they would be I would be eating it up. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, you didn't show up in the playoffs.
There's another comment. Ethan says, how many sacks does Micah have in the
How many sacks does he have in the postseason? Oh, my Lord. How many sacks?
Why do you dismiss John? What can you? I'm not even trying to. I'm just asking genuinely for an explanation. Why do you downplay that like so quickly?
Because it's such a low. It's an LD. It's an LCD comment. It is lowest common denominator.
Right.
That is WIP shit. Go turn on WIP. Go turn that on. It is lowest common denominator. And we're trying to educate fans. It is the ultimate team sport, as their own head coach tells them. I don't want to get back in the argument, but the whole is, he doesn't win big games. He doesn't win big games. For any quarterback in the history of the game. Does anybody play? What is it? I'll ask you. I'll ask any of the fans. What is your definition of a big game?
I can't speak for everybody, but I would say a playoff game, and the closer you get to the final, the increasingly more important they get.
They're certainly increasingly more important. But the point is, nobody gets to the Super Bowl without winning the NFC Championship game. You don't get to the NFC Championship game without winning the divisional round. You don't get to the divisional round without winning the wild card if you're playing in the wild card. You don't get to the playoffs unless you win big games in the regular season. Nick has often pointed out, if Cooper's playing Iowa State in college, that's a fucking big game for him. If he's back in high school playing his rival, whatever his high school, that's a big game for him. The reason I say that is because most of the people, you got to win a Super Bowl. You got to win a Super Bowl. They said it about Andy Reid for years. Can't win a big game. How do you get to a big game if you can't win a big game? It is LCD, lowest common denominator.
John, let's go get Micah Parsons. I know you got some pull in there, Johnny Mac. Walk in there and say, you guys want to go win another Super Bowl? Go fucking get Micah Parsons from down. I know they're interested, John.
Look, from a football perspective, he's a home run. But if he's on the,
I do want you to explain that, because some people think, he's not the well-rounded edge. And one of the things Vic has looked for in an edge, why didn't he like Bryce Huff? And I'm not saying Mike is Bryce Huff. I'm just saying Vic seems to like the edges that are very versatile in a sense of set the edge, stop the run, and get after the quarterback and do it all well. Micah, I don't know if, I was obviously a great player, but does he do that super well?
Well, first of all, you're way, if you're saying number one for Vic is get the passer, number one.
Right. Well, that's that's
number two is the flat defender part of it, not run support.
Okay.
And those are the two major things he wants. And he does both of those things better than 95% of his peers. And I might be lowballing it.
Yeah, you probably are.
And, nobody's sitting there looking at, Hassan Reddick back in the day and saying, well, he's not the best, when he had that season, he's not the best run defense player. And, by the way, Micah's not terrible at it. So I don't know where that came from. But, he's a little bit undersized. That's the reason why people misevaluate him coming out of Penn State. And he should have been an edge rusher from the get-go. And they fixed it with Abdul Carter, who's not as good as Micah Parsons. But, he's Khalil Mack for Vic Fangio.
Right.
That's what he would be for Vic Fangio. And yeah, he's one of the top 10 players in football. Regardless.
John, listening to you right now is like, I want to clip it and send it to the fucking Eagles front office and say,
they already know. Trust me on this one. They are very well aware how good Micah Parsons.
So go get him. What do we hold? I guess only your own. Do you think the biggest hurdle is that the Eagles wouldn't pay him, or is Dallas trading him in the division a bigger hurdle than actually acquiring
Dallas trading him to the Eagles is bigger hurdle than the Eagles can't pay him, which is a big hurdle. Both are big hurdles, but the biggest is Dallas would not. I refuse to believe they would ever trade him to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Man, I don't know what it would do. Everybody's got a price, John. Throw in another first for all I give a shit, man. Go get the dude. If he's 80%.
Well, you got to be realistic. I'm not paying somebody $40 million and giving up 2 first-round picks.
Why?
Even Eagles picks because you don't have to. Why? How he doesn't do dumb people don't do dumb things because you don't have to. Now it's fair to say, you might have to pay a tax for, in division trade. You might have to pay more than, say, the Chicago Bears or the Los Angeles Chargers, which everybody in Philadelphia has such an interest in. You might have to pay more than they have to do to get them to trade in the division for, a normal player, never mind a all-pro player. But if you're paying a guy $40 million, and that might be lowballing it, I don't. Is there any evidence that somebody's getting 2 first-round picks and paying $40 million?
No, I think the hurdles that you talked about, I think they are real. And if you did want to actually acquire the guy, you're going to have to pay a premium. And for a team that has as many young, good players as we have right now, I don't know what's more valuable, John, an extra first-round pick or Micah fucking Parsons on the team. You hear what I'm saying? I get it. In theory, yeah, it's dumb. You don't have to do it. But shit, if that's what you do to get it done, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, no, an extra first, I'm out on Micah. If it's an extra first, give up the first.
Well, Nolan Smith has more sacks in the playoffs. So.
Well, Nolan Smith and
He already-
Jahad Campbell combined
already-
are two late first-round picks. Would you trade those two guys for Micah Parsons?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't trade both of them. I'd trade one of them.
I was just trying to say, like, in theory, you're holding on to a first-round pick that might become, probably after 25th pick in the draft. I don't know. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but like, if that's
Well, you don't need him.
If
Yeah.
that's not the deal done, I would
He-
it would be done. Already.
He has no sacks in the Super Bowl. You don't need him. You don't need him.
Yeah, I am quickly seeing that why you think that is the dumbest comment on planet Earth.
Yeah, I'm joking. Obviously, look again. If he were on the Kansas City Chiefs, if he were on the Denver Broncos, if he were on the Carolina Panthers, I would think that at this point, especially after seeing the edge rushing group for a little bit here, that Howie would be investigating things, and I hope I'm wrong because I love to see it, but I think Steven would stop Jerry from doing anything.
Well, I don't think you're wrong in a sense of it would take a major upsetting of the apple cart in certain rooms in probably both organizations to make it happen. So it's an uphill battle for sure, but I'm not ruling it out, man. I think Howie wants this player, especially listening to the way you talk about the way the Eagles talk about him.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they love Myles Garrett. They love Myles Garrett.
Again, Myles Garrett's 30, John. He doesn't really fit what the Eagles were trying to do, really. I mean, $41 million for a 30-year-old is a little different than $40 million for a 26-year-old that
Well,
fits,
if they were in a different, no, because they're thinking about things in the immediacy and winning another Super Bowl. I mean, if you get Myles Garrett for 2 years.
You think Myles Garrett's better than Micah Parsons in terms of, like, right now? Would he have helped the Eagles more than Micah would?
I think Myles is better. I think Myles is the best.
Me too.
Arguably the best player, really, in the world. And by the way, I think he played on a 3-win team last year.
Yeah.
Didn't get a sack in the Super Bowl. But I think but I think Mike is a better fit for Vic. I think Mike is a better fit for Vic.
Shit, man, this has got me fired up, John. I didn't think I'd
Myles
have this.
Myles is more of a traditional.
Yeah, right. But I think he's definitely better. I think most would agree with that. But I do wonder, I mean, the way you explained, the way that Micah would fit in the defense, boy, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's funny though, John, the way it all, even just leaving the Eagles advocate for a second, it is funny the way it all unfolds. Dallas is a hilariously run organization, but hey, they keep making money and that's all they care about.
Yeah, I don't know why Jerry's worried about the relevance of the Dallas Cowboys, but he is. I guess that's his greatest fear, but they're never going to win again until he's out of there. And it's a shame because they have some smart. Will McClay is one of the best personnel guys in the NFL. And Steven's done some good things, but they are just overrun by a guy who's, I don't know, doesn't care about. I don't know what the main thing is not the main thing in Dallas.
Maybe that's where Jalen came up with that thing. He looked at Dallas and said, all right, how do we do the opposite of what they're doing to win? That's pretty funny. All right, Johnny Mac, great conversation on Micah Parsons. Great breakdown of the practice today. We will get back to some Eagles. We'll close out the show in about 11 minutes, it looks like. So great stuff. The phone held up strong, John, tonight. So Xfinity crapped us. Boy, John, the internet's really like us in the morning, don't they, man?
Well, I feel a little bit better because there's an outage. So something's going on. But Yeah, it has been an issue. I never have a problem in the morning, very rarely.
5 years, John. We've had very, very few problems with your internet. That's why
Yeah.
I was joking with the people in the chat. I'm like, I don't really think it's John's internet. I've been doing the show with him he's been on the channel now for 5 years doing this.
Yeah. I had like a 2-year stretch of no issues whatsoever. But it happens. It's frustrating, but it happens.
Yep.
So Verizon wins over Xfinity. Xfinity. Get your shit together.
There you go. Xfinity won't be on our sponsor target list at all coming soon. All right, Johnny Mac, wrapping up week number 2 of training camp. It's been 7 days of on-the-field practice that at least have been open to the reporters that you've been able to consume and watch and take in. Where are you as we wrap up week number 2? They have off tomorrow. They're moving into the preseason game, week number 3 next week. Sounds like you're where we were when we started. This team needs an edge rusher, Johnny Mac.
Yeah, and there happens to be a guy asking for a trade who's from Harrisburg and played at Penn State, and Jeff Kerr would advocate being here. Yeah, the Penn State people would all go nuts. The Harrisburg people would all go nuts. And all the Eagles fans who don't realize how good he is will go nuts. That's going to be the giveaway of the year, Micah Parsons.
That would be massive, man. How huge. We would have one of the biggest shows maybe ever, instant reaction show, if Micah Parsons got traded to Philly. John, what other takeaways, man? Let's just recap one more time for the people that missed it. Just the biggest takeaways. I know there's probably not too many, but just things that reiterate of what you saw today, day 7 at camp for the Philadelphia Eagles on the football field.
Oh, I thought you were talking big picture. Get the auto pen away from Jerry Jones. That's the big picture. But for the Eagles, big Saquon practice. Yeah, and, defense is still a work in progress, man. Vic's trying to figure it out. But you see little pieces and little upsides and say, all right, maybe this can work. I see that at linebacker. I see it in the secondary. I don't necessarily see it on the edge.
We'll see, Johnny Mac. We'll see how it all shakes out, brother. I'm gonna let you run here just a little bit early, but John, it's now blinking in I can see the notification hitting my phone right now, John. I can picture myself, John, sitting here and setting up the instant reaction, making the thumbnail, making the title, sending you the link, and here we are. Micah Parsons coming to Philly, John. Come on, baby. I'm willing it into existence. What's that book they say where you think things and they happen? The Secret or the
I
Secret.
don't know. You got to get your vision boards out. You got to put
right.
Micah Parsons pictures on your vision boards.
Here, I'll give the people something on the screen right now that they can look at as a vision board. There's a picture of a picture of Micah in Eagle Green. Somebody photoshopped it already. It's probably been out there for a while, but I'll put that on the screen for vision.
I don't know. You got Abdul Carter. He's got himself, and that's for. Yeah, I mean, he'd like to play on the Eagles.
He's not wearing number 11 in Philly. I'll tell you that.
No, he's not. Maybe that'll be the holdup. They're willing to give him $40 million. They're willing to give up 2 first-round picks, but he wants number 11.
Yeah, right. Now you got to go and give what would you have to get? I don't think there's any number AJ would take to give up number 11. Maybe that's the holdup. Johnny Mac, great stuff tonight, brother. Your final thoughts here as we wrap up the week on a Football Friday, a little nightcap edition.
I knew this would be a thing, unfortunately. So I blame Jerry. But he is the way he is. Rinse, repeat, as Don Van Nana said. He does it every year now. He does it every year. And ultimately, he will sign Micah Parsons to the highest contract that any defensive player has had in the history of football until the next one comes along. But he will remain in Dallas, and you could remain hating him, Eagles fans. and they got to put it together here. But I do think, that is the position they're most likely to go outside the organization to add somebody, but it's not going to be at the level of Micah Parsons.
Got it. Love it, John. Appreciate it, man. One chat. Let's go, boys. Let's go, Birds. Can't wait to get rolling. Thank you, man. Appreciate that chat. Johnny Mac, great show tonight, brother. We'll catch you on Sunday, I believe, because they're off tomorrow, back on the field Sunday. So we'll talk.
Yeah, it might be Monday because I'm going up to SummerSlam, so I might be.
Oh, are you? That's at MetLife this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Very good. I didn't know that. Good stuff. All right. Enjoy your weekend, Johnny Mac. Appreciate it, brother. And we'll catch up with you on Monday.
All right. Thanks, all.
All right. Thanks, J Mac. There's Johnny Mac joining us here on a nightcap edition of Foot. What a fun. That's a fun nightcap. All right. Look at it. Look at it. I know you all want it. Come on, Twiz. Come on, Twizzler. I know you want it. Johnny Mac was excellent on the Micah Parsons talk. Was he not? Was he not? How about him trolling and destroying and ripping into the narrative of him not being able to play in the postseason? That was just hilarious. What a great show. What a great show. I did not expect Birds 365 to be that fun tonight, especially when John's internet started acting a fool. And I'm like, oh, man, we're going to have one of those nights. And then Johnny Mac breaks out the phone, gives us audio only. I mean, I heard John activate some voices tonight that I don't think I've ever heard when he was mocking the comments. I don't think I've ever heard Johnny Mac use that tone. Have you guys? I don't know if I've ever heard that. I don't even know if I've heard that. I just found it very funny. I found it very funny. I got to pull this segment of John doing that because that was just all time. I mean, it was just flat out all time. I got to post that. John McMullen erupts. I mean, he erupted. I got to post that out tonight. That is iconic. Let me share that up right now. All right, activated the segment. I got to make a thumbnail, and I'm posting that ASAP on the channel. Oh, my gosh. That was a fun show. Thanks, everybody, man. You guys are great. I freaking love the great community we have. I love Eagles fans. I love Eagles fans. You know what I love about us? We have the most fun. Do you think any other fan base has as much fun as we do cheering on our football team? I don't think anybody else has as much fun as we do. Now, maybe that's not true 10, 15 years ago, but I'm in the now. It's 2025. Don't talk to me about 1982. I don't give a shit. All right? We have some fun here in Philadelphia. I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that. JD, look at that photo. Look at that photo, JD. Call Howie, JD. It's time to get this guy. It's time to get Micah Parsons to Philly. I know you all want him. I know I do. I would be very happy if he came. Are you kidding me? Think about how much fun I'd have. I already have fun covering this team. Can you imagine how fun that would be? Twiz, I think even you can appreciate how much fun I would have covering Micah Parsons. I think even you, Twiz, would understand. Damn, Xander's his job just got a lot more fun. Holy moly, what a great day. It's August 1st. August is going to be a good month. August is going to be a good month, everybody. All right? Now, he wouldn't be in 11, Arthur. We just talked about that. He would not be in 11. What would he wear? 0? I saw someone say 0. Maybe. All right, everybody. I got to run. Have a great night. Thank you all for everything you guys do. Thank you for being here. Thanks for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I love talking talking with you guys each and every day. My favorite thing, you know, tonight I made the mistake again of not eating. Now I got like a Pop-Tart here. I'm just hammering. I hammered at the break. And then we got back on the show. And I don't like eating on the show. Some people will like mute themselves and eat. That's not really my style. So I've been staring this thing in the face for like 48 minutes, waiting to finish it because I did not eat. I did not eat since like, I don't even know when I ate. I barely ate shit today. I got to eat more. All right, everybody. I'm getting out of here. It was a fun show, like it always is. You guys are great. And Micah Parsons might be on his way to Philadelphia, which would be absolutely hilarious. I love all you guys. That's going to do it for the week of content this week. See you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.